Hey guys, Jason here. Welcome back to another video here on the second channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about two of my favorite films, and I'm going to be comparing all the similarities and all the differences. I'm probably not going to talk about all the differences and all the similarities because there's probably a bunch, especially like a bunch of small ones that I don't even know if I'll get to. But I'm going to be covering most of them. And I'm going to be talking about why these films are good, and why I want to compare these two films and talk about all the differences and similarities. So without further ado, let's actually get into it. So the two movies I'm going to be talking about today are Inception and The Matrix. Now, when it comes to The Matrix, I'm going to be talking mostly about the original. I'm not going to be talking about the rest of the lore that happens like in the sequels or anything like that. I'm going to just be focusing on the first Matrix film. And we're also going to be talking about Inception. So, first of all, I guess we'll talk about like what these films are about, and pretty much like the differences and like of what these films are about and the similarities. So I mean, these films roughly are pretty much about the same thing, but kind of different. Whereas The Matrix is more of like a sci-fi-ish film that focuses on, humans are trapped in the Matrix, and it is indistinguishable from the real world. That's the basic premise of it. And then Inception is pretty much just about, dreams and dream worlds and how they're different from the real world. So lots of differences, but similar things of what they're about. They focus on, or they both of them really focus on questioning your reality, whether you can trust that the world that you're in is a dream or not. Both in The Matrix and in Inception, trusting your world, if it's a dream or if it's reality, and yeah, so that's like pretty much like the underlining themes of both of these films. Basically, basically about how reality might work and how the human mind works. And so now I'm going to talk about some similarities that are probably very obvious if you watched both films. And this has to do with kind of a little bit of the story. So first similarity that is really, really obvious between Inception and The Matrix is that they both have a scene where they see some sort of thing in the same spot twice. In The Matrix, it's when Neo has the deja vu moment where he sees the cat on the steps twice. In Inception, it's the dream paradox where on the Penrose steps, on the infinite staircase, where they see the same woman in the same spot twice. Also, really, another similarity that's really obvious if you watched is, like in The Matrix, when Neo is fighting the agents, when Neo is in the Matrix and training in the construct, before he becomes the one, Neo sees the woman in the red dress, and that's a distraction to him. Whereas Inception, they're in the dream and they're trying to, this is the second half of the movie where they're performing the Inception job, and they're in the dream and they're trying to distract Fisher, Robert Fisher, because they're using, or Eames is using a woman as a distraction. So, very, very, very similar things. And yeah. So, another kind of similarity, there's a lot of similarities to these films, is that both The Matrix and Inception, we learn about the world. Like Inception, we learn about the dream world, and in The Matrix, we learn about the Matrix, of course, and we learned that people with enough practice can learn how to bend the rules of these worlds. So in the dream, it's like creating like paradoxical architecture and creating and building buildings from places that you want to create and all that stuff. And in the Matrix, it's like bending the rules of like gravity and bending and cheating the world, pretty much. So yeah, we learn in the first half of these films, we learn about the rules and how like the worlds work. And then in the second half of Inception, we learn, or in the second half of Inception, we have the whole Inception job that happens. So, now, yeah. So now I'm going to talk about some things that might be similar and kind of things that might be different. But it's going to get more complex, because now I'm going to have to explain some things and how they work. So, and it's going to get really, really nerdy. So, I guess I'm going to start off with the idea of Inception, or the whole idea of it. So the whole idea of Inception is you are incepting, or you're planting an idea into someone's mind. So in the case of the movie, it was Robert Fisher wanting to break up his father's empire, or Cobb planting the idea in your mind, or in his wife's mind, that this dream world is the real world, because they were exploring deep dreaming, concepts of dreams within dreams, and kind of performed Inception by doing that. So when you really think about it, it's kind of the same thing with The Matrix, but it's kind of different. Like, the same kind of, like, underlying principle is kind of there, like, with The Matrix. Like, the machines are, I guess, quote-unquote, performing Inception, mass Inception, by where they've basically taken the whole human race, inserted them into this computer-generated dream world, which is quote-unquote reality, or what they know as reality, and that's their idea of reality. But it's kind of different where where like the steps that are performed to plant that idea in your mind, it's still like in both cases, it still requires deception and manipulation to make it work. But in The Matrix and in Inception, it's I'm just going to say, like, it's kind of different. Inception, you kind of know what's happening-ish, whereas The Matrix, it's like, I don't know how else to explain it, but The Matrix and Inception have the same ideas of pretty much like The Matrix. We've pretty much have performed mass inception of this idea that they need to accept the program, the simulation, and that this reality is real reality, and that the Matrix is not a dream world. So, I told you it was going to get complex. So, now I'm going to talk about another scene, especially like Inception, that another scene in Inception that has very, very, very similar meanings to the Matrix, and it might actually even be like the scene was probably maybe even put there for a Matrix reference. I don't know. But it's a scene that practically no one talks about, and I haven't seen it being talked about in Inception movie reviews or anything like that. But it's the scene where Cobb and Yusuf meet and discuss what compounds they're going to be using for the Inception job for Mr. Fisher. And they're discussing the dream within a dream 2 levels, and how it's not, or Yusuf says it's not possible, and Cobb says that 3 level, going down into a dream within a dream within a dream, 3 levels is possible, and then it's the scene right after that where Yusuf takes him down into the big basement and shows Cobb the sleeping men, the 12 dreaming men on beds that dream for like 4 hours a day and are connected by the hour, sharing the dream. And then the older man that's sitting in the chair that's watching them I think it was, I don't remember who, but someone asked, do you come here to sleep? And then the old man said, no, they come here to be woken up because the dream has become their reality, and who are you to say otherwise? That's actually the direct quote. But the reason why this whole scene is similar to The Matrix, or why I think it's similar to The Matrix, is because it never got stated directly. We don't ever see this room again. It never got stated directly, but my inference is that I infer that these people that are in these deep, deep dreams that are dreaming for like 4 hours don't know that they're dreaming, so they think it's the real world. They think that the dream is the real world. I mean, we get glimpses, or we get ideas in Inception that, and this kind of happens in real life dreams anyways, but Inception, we get the idea of, well, dreams feel real while we're in them. It's not when it's not until we wake up that we realize that something was off or something was strange. That's also kind of how we feel in real life when we dream too. But it has to do with the Matrix, just because, well, these people are plugged in. Well, these people are connected to the dream machines. There's 12 of them, and they're all connected. They're all sharing this reality that they think is, well, reality. They don't know if they don't know that it's a dream. It's not to the massive scale that we see in the Matrix, where all the people are connected to, like the fields and the pods. It's not like, where there's 1 billion people living in the Matrix. It's a way, way, way smaller scale than that in Inception. But in Inception, we can kind of see the Matrix reference there, because it's a scene that really, like, not a lot of people talk about, and I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it when they're going over Inception reviews, even like Inception reviews with like spoilers and stuff. But yeah, it is similar to that in that regard. Um, and well, yeah. Um, and then yeah. So, what else is similar or different to Inception and The Matrix? Well, we see references of like in Inception, um, especially at the end when we learn about all or we learn about why Cobb's wife Maul is not alive anymore, and the whole Inception thing that happened with her, we get glimpses of we get other glimpses at as well as we don't we don't know if there could be a possibility that we don't know if we're dreaming. Um, like if we don't know that if we're dreaming or not, or if we know that or if we think that we're in the real world or not. And the Matrix, and the reason why the Matrix is so good at dealing with that concept too is because over time, like the Matrix and all that stuff, they have fought. People have actually like questioned, are we really in the Matrix? Like, is the Matrix is the real world that we're in right now? Like, is it technically the Matrix? Are we in the Matrix? So that kind of has to go back to the ending of Inception as well, because when they finally finish the job and they wake up back up in the real world and Cobb goes home, he spins his top on the table, he gets distracted by his children showing up. So when he spins his top, we know throughout the whole movie, if it stops, he's in reality, and if it keeps spinning, he would be in the dream. But the movie ends before we know if it actually keeps spinning or if it stops. So it keeps us with the question, is this a dream? Is this reality all along? Like, is this still a dream, or is Cobb still dreaming? Or is he actually in the real world? And people have always questioned that theory in, like, videos I've seen on Inception reviews. Like, people have always questioned, like, is Cobb still dreaming? I'm in the camp. I believe that Cobb actually came back to reality. I don't think that he's in the dream world, but there's people that also believe that he was still dreaming as well. So it leaves us with that question. Whereas we don't really see it in the original Matrix movie or anything like that, but we don't really see it up until the sequels. But the original Matrix, it leaves us with the question of, well, is this a Matrix? Is the real world a Matrix? The Matrix as well? Like, could we in reality be living in the Matrix? So, and then I'm not going to talk about the sequel, or I'm not going to get much into it, but I will mention it. I'm going to mention it right now. When it comes to them saving Zion, well, we didn't learn about Zion in the original Matrix, but when it comes to the whole Zion mission, and we learn in later movies that they've destroyed the Matrix 6 times, and they just are not destroyed the Matrix, but they've reset the Matrix. The one has reset the Matrix 6 times, and Zion has been destroyed 6 times. It makes us question as well, and people have pointed this out in analyzations of the Matrix, that that maybe Zion, maybe all of this, or maybe the whole path of the one was just another part of the simulation, was just another part of the deception, and it's not actually reality. So it leaves us The Matrix leaves us questioning with that, too. So that's kind of another difference. That's similar, but also different. And yeah. So, yeah. I told you, this was going to get really, really, really complex. Lots of, like, things that are similar but can also be different about these two films. And this is why I like Inception and The Matrix, just because this is why they're my favorite films, because I like these complex ideas. I like these complex topics about, is this reality? Is this not reality? Are we dreaming? Like, are we dreaming? Like, do we know that we're dreaming? Are we in the real world? Like, it just makes they're both movies that just make you think, and think, about how, like, our minds work, about how, this world works, about how reality works, about all these complex things, all the complexities of reality. So, that's a deep analyzation of all the differences, that I could find, and all the kind of, most of them similarities, but similarities that are also kind of differences that I could find between The Matrix and Inception. Both really, really good movies. If you haven't watched them, you should watch them. Really peak films. Some of my favorite films. And yeah. So, I hope you all liked this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.